Hi there. Good afternoon. Hello. We love that everyone is taking advantage of this opportunity to network, to get to know one another, to use this time to really come together. Did everyone enjoy lunch? I see. Thank you. Yeah, we can give a hand of applause to lunch. Lunch is often the favorite part. I mean, my daughter is an elementary schooler, always says it's her favorite subject. So, I know a lot of adults still say the same thing. But we are so happy that you are sticking with us through the entirety of this summit. I think that this last panel is going to be the best. I also know it's the one thing that stands in between us and closing ceremonies. So we're going to keep this tight and dive right into the action. My name is Shelby Landgraf. I have the honor and privilege of serving as your moderator, as your conversation starter, if you will. And then we have a panel of 3 esteemed small business owners who have a wealth of information to share with you. So we're going to start with a quick 60-second introduction from each of them. John, you're first. I'll let you kick us off.
Hi, I'm John Herriage, owner of Copper Key Realty. I've owned several restaurants in town. I've been in Odessa since 1987. Moved here with a $100 bill in my pocket and 3 pickup payments behind because they were looking for it. Odessa has been very good to me, and I've been self-employed 95% of the time I've been here, and I've been truly blessed.
Thank you, John. Kirby?
All right, I am Kirby Scott. My mom and I, Janet Lawrence, and I have Kirby's Kloset. It's a retail store. We carry apparel, accessories, and gifts for women and now for kids as well. We do baby up to like a 12 youth for girls and boys. I was born and raised in Odessa, and now I'm raising my family here.
Thank you, Kirby. And Matt?
Excellent. My name is Matt Wood. My wife and I, Tracy, own Johnny's Barbecue, Copper Kettle Cafe, Heifer's Inconvenience, and the Driftwood Catering Company. Both of us were born and raised here in Odessa, and just love what Odessa brings to the community. The citizens are great.
Thank you. This is a fireside chat about local strategies and starting and growing small businesses. So we're going to start first big picture and then dive into a little bit of the nitty-gritty. So first, a question for all of you. We want to start with, what do you believe is the most important, the one most important aspect as a small business owner? We'll go in reverse order. I'm going to switch it up. Matt, we'll start with you.
Most important aspect as a small business owner, to me, it's the relationships you have. Whether it's your vendors, your customers, your finance partners, across the board, your business professionals, whoever you choose to be in business with, you need to be very careful and selective about who those people are. Even if it's your customers, you need to target a specific customer base that enjoys what you do and is gracious. The community, since COVID, the whole community's changed drastically. But being careful about who you serve and who you work with, that goes a long way when things get tight. So that would be what I would say.
Kirby, what about you?
Yeah, our customers are number one priority. They're the people that are putting us in business, keeping us in business. It's important to cater to your customers, learn your customers, our customers to become our friends. That is my favorite part of it, is the relationships that we have with them specifically.
Yeah.
Again, probably repeating a lot after them. A lot of it is our clients, because if we don't take care of you, someone else will. But also something very important is the way you take care of your staff. Some will say the CEO is the most important in a restaurant. I'll come back and say my dishwasher is. Because without them, I don't have a clean restaurant, I don't have clean dishes. So they're just as important as the CEO. It takes the whole team together to make it work.
Yeah. Now, when you have those top priorities, how do you walk that out with expectations and goals? How do you, John, set realistic expectations? I know that is really important as a small business owner. What can you share about that?
Set goals that are obtainable, but you can also set them a little higher at times, where you work harder for your goals. And they're not just your goals, Also, you get your staff involved. It's all of our goals. And when we reach those goals, you reward your staff also. And that's what I think we need to pull them also doing that. That's with all the restaurants that I've owned over the years. Our managers had a bonus program that was based on profitability. It wasn't just based on their food cost or their paper cost. And the whole team would get together and take care of it better. So I think it's not just me, it's pulling everyone in together with our goals and where we want to be.
Matt, what about goal setting and managing, setting those realistic expectations when you're in the food and catering business?
Absolutely. I agree with John. In general, most people don't go to work just to collect a paycheck. They want some satisfaction out of it. They want to see some gratitude out of it. Occasionally saying good job is something that a lot of people don't hear anymore and deserve to hear. So as a business owner, when I set goals for my business and myself, we try to make sure that we're incorporating our employee base into that. Their buy-in is essential to any matter of success.
And Kirby, layering into that, how do you go about setting those expectations, those goals, those milestones for your business?
We've been in business 11 years, and business has naturally kind of goes up and down, and it goes up and down through the year also. You just know you have the slow months, and you know you have your busy months, and now the cost of things has gone up. So our sales have gone up. So we had, I think last year, it was our best year of sales since we've been open. Well, everything's also more expensive. So you're like, okay, well, the prices are higher, so our sales are going to be higher.
But still, congratulations.
Well,
We can
thank
take a
you.
moment
Yeah.
to celebrate
Thank
that.
you. But it is, you set your expectations along with the people that you put in charge, with your employees, and then you have to act on it. And not everything works out. So you have the ideas, you take the chances. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you say, we just keep doing what we're doing. Let's just power through. But then there's other times you take chances. It doesn't always work out, and that's okay. And talking on like mistakes, we've made mistakes, but I don't ever consider them a failure, because you always learn.
Right.
So yeah.
That's something we tell to our children, but that
Yes,
still
yeah.
applies as an adult, right? Piggybacking on that and diving a little deeper, we all know, living in West Texas, that we are often in an up and down industry that has its own charms and its own challenges. So how do you sustain growth? How do you sustain sales, Kirby, when business slows, when we're in one of those contraction periods?
Right. Well, and for us, it kind of year to year, also, in the economy, but also weather. When it's it's September, people are ready for fall stuff, but it's still 100 degrees out. It's slower time for us, but in that, we specifically go to social media. You can reach a lot of people really quickly. You run your sales, you run your specials, you do giveaways, but that's when you can reach out to people, you can show things, you can, you look at what, for me specifically, I look at what people are wearing. I look at activities that are going on, it's back to school, shopping, and you gear towards that specifically. Versus other times, like, you can kind of just be like, oh, I'm just going to show you all of the new stuff. Well, when it's slow, you have to get a little bit more specific.
Mm-hmm. Matt, what about any pro tips to add?
Oh, goodness. So to that effect, our restaurants are typically very seasonal. We all know the same thing. Odessa becomes a ghost town during the summer. It's 110 degrees half the summer, and the lake sounds a lot nicer than being here. So obviously, all of our businesses are impacted to some degree or another. We try to start reaching out to our customer base. We start touching base with salespeople. We start reaching out to the office folks, all the past caterings that we've done, past relationships we've had that developed over the lifespan of ourselves and the businesses and our partners and people we know. And again, sometimes don't fix what's not broken, so it's okay to get a little unconventional with your ideas and your strategies, but the wheel hasn't changed since Fred Flintstone. So just kind of remember, what worked in the past won't always work, but it has a pretty good chance.
That's some good sage advice. John, winding down this question with you, how do you go about driving sales when things start to slow down in our economy?
I mean, with sales, it can be different ways. It can be social media. If it's in real estate, it could be one thing. If it's in restaurants, it's another way. But one thing I want to say about social media can help you build your business or it can kill you.
People are.
It's okay that somebody doesn't like you. Not everyone's going to. It's okay. But when they say something super hateful, don't come back and totally trash them back. That will destroy a business. I before have put, I am so sorry that happened. Did you talk to a manager on duty? Here is my personal cell phone number. Give me a chance to fix it. And when that happens, the other one's reading or thinking, they are trying to take care of it. But be very careful coming back trashing the customer.
On the topic of social media, Kirby, I know you especially really have worked hard and have a very active social media presence. What have you learned along the way, and what can you share with our audience today?
Well, we first started out, it was strictly Facebook. 11 years ago, Facebook, we were posting multiple times a day. And then I had, probably a couple years into it, we had a college student come intern for us. She was like, oh, you have to have an Instagram. What's this Instagram? So we got an Instagram, and she did it, and then I started running it. Well, it took me a year and a half to realize there was messages, and people were sending me messages. They were trying to order stuff, and I just ignored them because I didn't even know it was there. So you have to learn the social media. You have to, figure it out. And it's since evolved. Used to, we would post 4 to 5 times a day, and you looked at what were the high-performing times during the day. You would do first thing in the morning when people are kind of waking up, you could schedule a post, or at lunchtime, or 6 o'clock when people get home from work, and all of that was so important at the time. Well, now you're supposed to post once a week, and now we have stories. We have we had Reels. Now Reels are the thing. And then now they tell me, oh, nobody's on Instagram, which is not true. People are still on Instagram and Facebook, but now it was Snapchat. Now it's TikTok. And then, so it's hard to keep track of. And what I do is I ask the young ones, I ask the girls that work in our store, because they know, and then a lot of times, the moms and the dads follow, then the grandparents follow, Our Facebook is still a little bit of an older crowd. Our Instagram is more younger, but kind of still spans all ages. And it's the algorithms are constantly changing. And once you figure it out, it changes again. And there are, Facebook, there's some negativity. People write reviews, whether or not they're true or not, or whether or not these things happened. That is part of it. As people do, a lot of times they're not necessarily utilizing Yelp or Google. They just get on Facebook to find a business. And so those stars are there. We've been lucky for the most part. We've gotten good reviews, but there's still a few in there that you're like, I wish those weren't up. But it's in 10 years, it'll be, it'll look differently again too.
Yeah. One other social media question is, I know the topic of social media is on the front of many people's minds as small business owners, and it really has become a key way to reach people. Mm-hmm. Do you suggest, or do you use or recommend any supplemental tools as far as monitoring tools or scheduling tools or any other layers into social media, Kirby, personally?
We probably could use more tools. We are kind of self-taught. The girls at the store are kind of doing it. The best tool, I think, is looking at what other businesses are doing. Not copying, making it your own, but looking at other stores. I look at other stores not necessarily locally, because I really am I don't want to copy anybody or be like, oh, that's a good idea, I'm going to take it. I look at stores, other stores in Texas, out of town, things that I'm attracted to, what I like that they do, and say, okay, well, we can do this and make it our own. Because there are a lot of really intelligent people out there who know what they're doing and have a knack for marketing and a knack for social media. The college-age girls, they can make those reels and do all this stuff. And I'm like, it's still little, I'm like trying to learn, but kind of just looking at the people, versus paying for a program or something that will do it for you. I'm tempted, though, now with the AI thing, I'm going to get on there and be like, can you make a caption for me? Can you edit this picture for me? And I need to do it, because I'm like, this could get really a lot easier if they're just creating it for me. But yeah, it's just looking at your peers and seeing what they're doing sometimes. Yeah.
And with social media being such an important layer sometimes in social media, community involvement and meeting people directly is clearly still very important as a small business owner. Matt, how do you prioritize community involvement as a small business owner? And what do you say to someone who's like, man, I don't think community involvement is that important anymore?
Absolutely. Thank you for that. As part of that, we probably all need to recognize the governor's office for putting this on, the Chamber of Commerce, the local community for supporting it, and the professionals who took time out of their day to make sure we had this opportunity, because it's been great all day. I think that's tremendous. But as a citizen of Odessa, civically, you should be engaged in your community. If you don't like what's happening, you have to get involved. And whether you're donating your time to volunteer at the nonprofit level or on a board or come into these meetings, it's absolutely imperative. As a business owner, the way John always puts it, try to stay purple as best as you can. But when you get involved, you meet good people. It goes back to that whole thing I was talking about earlier, is you want to surround yourself with the right kind of people, whether it's your staff, your employees, your vendors, your partners, your professionals. Being involved in the community gives you that chance to surround yourself with like-minded people who, for the most part, have good hearts and want the best for everyone. So that's why I think it's important.
Another thing that we know is often important but difficult sometimes to achieve is finding mentors and mentorship within the small business realm. How do you go about, or how have you gone about, John, finding those mentors, finding those support groups? What suggestions and tips can you provide on that topic?
That was one of the notes on my list. Like when I started in real estate, I work with a few brokers, and I learned so much. Mentors that did well, people that are successful. You want to be successful, surround yourself with successful people. And that has helped so much. Like I see so many real estate agents just look for the huge commissions. When one of my first mentors said, take care of the client, the money will follow. Don't look at the dollars. Take care of the client and the money will follow. So find the successful people, the positive people, and get them in your life, and where you can ask questions. Why did you do that? What did you do? They weren't always successful. They started where you were at one time also. Find someone that's willing to help you. I mean, get a good sphere you're working with that can help you.
Yeah, absolutely. Coming back big picture, you guys have a wealth of experience, a wealth of knowledge in the small business ownership world. What final lesson would you say is one of the most important lessons that you've learned as a small business owner that you would want to pass on to other small business owners? Matt, we'll start with you.
Absolutely. The 2 points that I've already touched on. One is, again, be careful about who you surround yourself with, whether it's an employee that's washing dishes or the bank partner that you have, regardless of who you're looking at, your vendors, your customer base. All these people matter, because when you're in a slow period, graciousness goes a long way. So that's my first thing. The second thing, again, is don't be afraid to be unconventional. You have experiences, you know people. Reach out to those partners and ask questions, and maybe change your game plan a little bit here and there. But again, remember, the wheel has been around since Fred Flintstone, so kind of keep that in mind. You just leave it round. It's okay. So.
Absolutely.
People will always want food.
They will always want food. You're welcome.
Kirby, what one or couple final lessons would you like to impart that you've learned personally that you can share?
I think the biggest is listening to your customers, being aware of your environment, of your community, of who you're selling to, staying true to your vision, because that's what started this, and this is what people they're coming to you because they like your vision, but also knowing your audience and like I said, you can't, there will be mistakes in business. You will, venture out, do different things, and maybe it doesn't work, but it's all learning, learning experience, and it's all positive. But knowing your customer, catering towards your customer, but also being open to, specifically in retail, new styles, new things that I'm like, the girls at our store are like, we got to have this, and this. No, that is ugly. But guess what? It has sold. So you have to be, open to change too.
Yeah, you have to evolve.
Yeah.
Beauty's in the
Yes.
eye of the
Yeah.
beholder, right? John, what about you? What's one final or a couple final lessons that you can share with our audience?
One of them was going to be the same thing as Kirby said. It's not about what you like. It's about what do your clients want? What do your customers want? Mm-hmm. I mean, I owned a restaurant one time and we had liver and onions. I think liver should be for bait. I don't like it. But it was one of my number one sellers and a very high profit item. So it's not about what you like, it's what your customers like. And also, before somebody goes into business, don't just jump out there and you're going to open a restaurant, zero experience. Have your mentors. Get a business plan. Have a good CPA, have a good attorney, have a good banking relationship. Know how we're going to do this. Don't just call day one and say, I want to look at this property because I'm opening a restaurant. Do you have experience? No. But my wife's a good cook. We hear that all the time. Also, when you get to that point, before you sign a lease, there's a pre-planning committee with the city of Odessa to know if you can have that there, if you're going to need a sprinkler system, if you're going to have to add this, and this, several things. So before you sign a lease, do your homework, or before you purchase a building, do your homework. Also, do a P&L monthly. Know if your business is making money or not. Because if you do it yearly, you could be losing money the whole time. Know where you need to be.
Yeah, those are great lessons. And I'm sure that you may have some questions percolating in your mind. So we were sure to keep a little bit of time to involve you in the conversation. So please, if you have a question, we'd love to hear from you. We cover all different varieties of industries up here. Yes, Dr. Jean, are my eyes still working? Dr. Jean, please.
That's correct. So, Kirby, you talked about the social media and how you find the algorithm and you figure out what it does, they change it, they figure out again, it changes it again.
Yep.
So essentially, you don't necessarily own that customer as yours, because if that social media platform goes away, then so do those customers in that situation. So
Right.
I'm curious, how much work do you do in email marketing and grabbing those emails as a small business to be able to market to them directly without the third-party platform?
We don't. Maybe we should. I personally get a lot of emails from stores and stuff. A lot of times I don't open them. They're not local stores. These are all big box stores. So I've kind of always had that mentality that it's kind of just not junk, but it's not always things I need to see. And sometimes it's too tempting, so I choose not to see it. But that's a great, what else do you do? And I think in that aspect, it's the relationships that we're building in the store. So if Facebook goes away, Instagram goes away, we're still going to have the customers that come in that want to have conversations with us, who's coming to hang out, or that know every so often we get our new things in. It's our regulars that are going to continue. And all advertising aside, social media aside, word of mouth is absolutely the best advertising
100%.
still. I think you can pay for lots of things, but it's word of mouth. And you get good word of mouth by having, providing good experiences in your business. Yeah.
Definitely.
It's a circle. I see some other hands up, so
I was just going to kind of talk about location and be thankful to you guys for, Matt staying on kind of the west side of town, definitely John staying on the west side of town. Kirby, you're pretty close. Y'all both chosen to stay, you didn't move out to Parks and Vado, you didn't move out to the east side, you didn't do those things. You chose to stay in the older part of the community and make those investments. and I frequent I don't go to Kirby's a whole lot, but.
That's weird. Yeah.
But
That's good.
Johnny's and, the restaurants are busy, so the customers are there.
Yeah.
And can you talk a little bit about why you chose to stay in those places and the benefits you've had, and has there been any thought about, well, let's pick up and move to the east side?
Yeah, that's a great question, Craig Stoker. I appreciate that. I want to make sure everyone can hear that in the back. Can everyone hear the question about location and its importance?
You want to?
I purchased Johnny's Barbecue 20-something years ago, I don't know, and it's established since 1948. I'm not going to move it. It's known, that's original location, well, it's second location. It originally was on Andrews Highway and then moved there. That's why I never moved it. Furthest we went is when I purchased an open copper kettle. It was a great location. The rent's reasonable. When you go to Parks Legato, a lot of times when stuff is a lot more expensive out there, it's because the rent's a lot more expensive. And staying in town, I think we could keep our prices more reasonable and not have to go up so high versus a $3,000 rent to a $10,000 rent. And when you've got a $10,000 rent, the customers are paying for it. Somebody has to pay for it.
Yeah. So to that effect, listen to your customers. The customers will tell you what to do. Again, it's not always what you want to do, it's what they pay you to do. I'll be honest, our customers are great. We've got a legacy business. We bought it from John 2.5 years ago now. Johnny's Barbecue has 70 years of customers that still come there, have been going there since they were children, and they bring their grandchildren now. It's tremendous. And the real estate on the east side of town is so expensive, and I really like our money where it's at. You can only charge so much for a plate of food, and with the way inflation has been, the cost of living is so high. I feel comfortable with the community we serve. I feel very grateful for them. I'm happy with what we do every day. I'm very grateful for it. And plus, John told me I couldn't move Johnny's. So.
I did not.
That's it, yeah.
But,
Richard, did I cut you off?
You're
Well,
good.
I was going to say I actually have experience with that because we're on University in Grandview. We're pretty central. We're in an older building, and that's what you get sometimes with more central or west side. The buildings are older. We have more problems, but guess what? We rent. It's somebody else's problem. It does affect our business occasionally, but somebody else has to deal with it. But we actually did. So when we had been in that location for 11 years, but I think it's 4 years ago now, we were approached by a salon that was located off of Faudree. They said, we have had a boutique in at the front of our salon. They're moving out. Would y'all be interested? We said, my mom was like, you need to go look at this salon. It's really pretty. So we thought, okay, well, we'll have some gift items there, some clothing items there. It wasn't great, but then I had my daughter, and so I started looking at kids' clothes, and they're so cute, and all the baby stuff. So we said, okay, well, we're gonna have our kids' stuff at that location on Faudree. And it just wasn't as busy. We didn't get the foot traffic, even it being a salon. We just didn't have, and we had our customers that would come into the store, were excited to see our kids' stuff, and we had to say, oh, it's not here, it's over there. And they would say, we just don't ever get over to that side of town. So you alienate half of your city when you are so far, at least for, we alienated half of our customer base by being so far east. And the buildings over there are pretty and they're nice. And, when you have leaks coming from your ceiling all the time, it's like you get the appeal of it. But you have higher rent, and like you said, you're alienating half the town. So we really appreciate our location, and we'll probably never move and love. And you get we've been there forever. I mean, not ever, but you guys,
Yeah.
Johnny's, and people know that's where you're at, and you're taking a big chance by moving.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Richard, I saw your hand up.
Yeah, just one question. Half of our business is done between Thanksgiving and Christmas. We're heading there right now. We're still on that time. What are some of the strategies that y'all employ, especially
Our back room gets really full. It is chaotic. It's starting to kind of roll in already, and it's crazy. One of the best things that we do, though, is we participate in the Junior League of Odessa. They throw Merry Marketplace. It is their community-wide fundraiser. We have been lucky enough to have been asked to do the style show the last several years, and then we have a booth there. And so it is like it's right after Halloween, so the first weekend of November, and it's the big push. It's the big start of the holiday season, and it gets your stuff out there and it gets people excited. And we sell a lot of merchandise, thankfully, at that time. And then we have all these kids' Christmas pajamas, and they sell out, and then people come to your store, and we want kids' Christmas pajamas. You have to make the decision. Do we order, 20 more pajamas, or do we just say that's it? And then, because if you order more, are you left with them after Christmas? Well, that's happened too. So it is a chance, and you take a chance that certain things are going to sell, and you buy a lot of it because they will. And then during that holiday season, you're competing with Target and the mall, and, the mall at Christmas is crazy. So people do appreciate they can come to our store. It's a little less crazy. They can get some more one-on-one help. The prices may be a little bit higher than they are at Target because we're not mass-produced, but when people want a special gift or some extra help, they come to us.
Do you do anything special manpower-wise to prepare for that?
We've-
Cash flow.
Right.
How do you manage cash flow going into that season when you need so much inventory?
We don't buy as much kind of, we buy more like January, February, March to get ready for spring, and then we kind of take a break. And it is a little scary sometimes because summer is slow. So you're not getting as much in, and all of a sudden you have to buy for the holiday season. So you budget, and thankfully you can still get stuff in for December in October, and October is generally a pretty good month. So you're getting that. Do y'all have that with like holiday parties and catering and?
Our fourth quarter is substantial. It's significantly different than the rest of the year. And all I can tell you is you just stop sleeping. Yeah, get over that idea. The first quarter, you go back to sleeping, you go back into hibernation, you and the groundhog. But our fourth quarter, as a small business owner, you're right. You hire people that can do your job, but that's money out of your pocket. So unless they're going to be a higher sales point or a revenue turner for you, that allows you to do something that's more essential for your own time, then do it yourself and just sacrifice. That's it. Just grind it out.
Yeah, some overtime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have time for about one more question. If we have any other burning questions out there. I thought I saw another hand up. Yes, sir. My eyes are not that good at all. You're going to have to share your name and your business and ask your question, please.
I'm required to start a business, but my question is how to fund it. Should I use my own money or is he born to borrowing the money? So I'm kind of in between. I really don't want to borrow it, but I really don't want to spend my own money. Which may be the advice.
I would also say, starting a business, get a relationship with the bank. Know that if you use your money and times get a little slim, you can borrow some money. One of the biggest things I tell every business owner, never leverage your house with a business loan. That is the biggest. I tell them, do not do it, because what if COVID happens again? Now you're out of business and homeless. So I think that would be something a financial advisor or your bank you should discuss with. Get a P&L, go over a P&L, find a business broker, talk to some mentors, and go from there on that one.
Yeah. I was in banking for 10 years. I was fortunate enough to work at Western National Bank for 7, Frost Bank for 3, and had great mentors. And I learned a lot during that time. And again, like we've heard all day, the relationships matter, but a good banker will tell you no. It's really hard to have to tell someone no, but they're not doing it for any other reason than to protect you from your own excitement, your own joy. Something that you're overly eager about that might not be an appropriate business venture. Finding those good relationships are essential to developing your business plan. And the SBDC, the SBA, they're huge. I can't say enough good things about the programs that they provide.
Relationships are important. That's probably one of the most important pro tips that has been echoed throughout this afternoon, and I think that that is a perfect place to end this panel discussion. We want to thank our 3 panelists. Please give them a round of applause for their time, for sharing their insight with us. And with that, we now get to hand it over to the closing ceremonies for the end of this summit. So thank you again to the governor's office and to our very own Odessa Chamber of Commerce and the wonderful team back there that worked so hard to help put this on.